My name is Adam Andrzejewski, and I'm the founder and CEO of OpenTheBooks.com. And you know our mission at OpenTheBooks.com. Simply said, it's every dime online in real time. And last year, to that end, our auditors filed and followed up with 47,000 Freedom of Information Act requests to capture virtually every dime taxed and spent at every level of government across the entire country. On this segment of the ripoff of the week, we dive into that data and we pull out the worst story of the week to showcase with you. So before we get to this week's topic, I want to introduce my co-host, Tamara Colbert. Hey, Tamara, you there?
Good evening. How are you, Adam?
Well, I'm doing well, Tamara.
Tonight's topic is a little bit crazy. Talk to us about tonight's topic and the public health emergency declaration, Adam, and why it is important for America's overall COVID-19 response.
So, Tamara, the entire world, Great Britain, the Netherlands, Switzerland, Denmark, they're all moving away from the pandemic, calling it an endemic. In America, the Biden administration is aggressively still embracing the public health emergency of COVID-19. And here's what a public health emergency is during a pandemic. It allows your vaccines, your therapeutics, your drugs to be able to fight COVID-19. So the Biden administration, just 2 weeks ago, it didn't get a lot of press. They reauthorized a 90-day public health emergency in the United States. The whole world was moving one way. The Biden administration aggressively was moving in the other way, even on its mandates. So, for example, for federal employees, for federal contractors, vaccine mandates, for members of the military, including special forces and Marines, vaccine mandates, and for America's public health care workers, vaccine mandates.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but President Biden he campaigned on the promise that he would end all of this, and the pandemic included. What did Open the Books auditors uncover? What action, this is very important, did President Biden take on the second day of his presidency?
Well, everyone will remember during the campaign against Donald Trump, President Biden promised to end the pandemic as soon as possible. Yet on day 2, we uncovered a memo. And it's basically a secret memo to all 50 governors. It got zero press. We're breaking it right here, and it's on our website. And we'll put links to our piece in the chat room. Biden wrote a memo to the 50 state governors. It was distributed through prominent law firms, state associations, directly to the governors, basically on the back channel. He didn't make it public for all of us. And it said, we will be in a public health emergency for the next year. And if we come out of that public health emergency, we're going to give you a 60-day notice. Now, I reached out to Health and Human Services for public comment on this, and they responded that, yes, this is true. And the 60-day notice is still in effect. So what that means, Tamara, is we're in an ongoing public health emergency, not only for the next 90 days, starting a couple of weeks ago on January 14th, but the governors are going to get a 60-day notice if we ever come out of it. That means we're in for the next public health emergency for the next quarter, for the second quarter, and probably for the third quarter as well, at least.
It's unbelievable. Can you walk us through that COVID response? What set of actions hinge entirely upon this emergency declaration being extended every 90 days?
Well, it's virtually, not quite, but virtually all healthcare COVID response is conditional on America's public health emergency declaration. So, for instance, your at-home test kits on COVID, they're only authorized under emergency use only. There has to be a public health emergency declared in order for you to use your at-home COVID test kits. Vaccines. The only company that has an authorized vaccine out of the public health emergency is Pfizer. And only one of their vaccines is authorized, and that's the rank and file vaccine for people 16 years of age and over. Nobody's got a booster that you can use outside of the public health emergency declaration. So Moderna, J&J, all of their vaccines are only used if there's a public health emergency. You come out of that, you can't use their vaccines. No, for people under 16 years of age, no company has a vaccine that's authorized but for the public health emergency. Then you go to the therapeutics like the monoclonal antibodies or your Pfizer COVID pill treatments.
Right.
All of that is only authorized under the public health emergency. So if you don't have a public health emergency, you can't, and you get sick, you can't take one of the therapeutics. Okay. So all of this is conditional on the public health emergency. Here's another thing. At openthebooks.com, Tamara, you know this. We're always saying, follow the money.
Yeah.
So every time, every quarter, every 90 days that there's a public health emergency, that frees up roughly $5 billion in additional Medicaid funding. That's a pot of money of $20 billion a year just over in Medicaid funding that's freed up. So when you follow the money, when you take a look at how the entire system is designed, are we ever going to end this public health emergency?
That's a great question. Now, I know that you reached out to Health and Human Services. Did they respond? And if they did, what did they say?
So we talked about how they responded to the memo, the basically secret memo issued to the 50 governors that we unearthed at openthebooks.com that said we're going to be on day 2 of the administration. The Biden administration, after promising to end the pandemic, they said, no, wait a second, we're in it for at least the next year. And if we come out of it, we're going to give you governors a 60-day notice. And the 60-day notice is confirmed. That's still in effect. Right. Here's the second thing that they confirmed. They, during the flu of 2017 through 2018, the common flu, daily deaths from the common flu averaged per day at 1,500. When I reached out to Health and Human Services, the average deaths per day of COVID was at 1,900. Okay, it is slightly more than the average daily deaths of the common flu from 2017 through 2018. But does that really necessitate a public health emergency and all of this masking, distancing, vaccine mandates, and everything else? And that's a question for the American people to answer.
I think you're exactly right. I think this is going to be an ongoing discussion with the American people. And I know that Open the Books is going to continue to follow the money and see where that trail goes, no matter how long or how dark that rabbit hole might be. If somebody wants to learn more about all of what we're doing and to look at some of our past articles and that, where should we have them go, Adam?
Come to openthebooks.com. It is now more important than ever to support our work. We are speaking truth to power, to the most powerful people in this country, henceforth in the world right now. It's our data investigations that are leading the way, and we need your support.
You are the most powerful reason that your legislators move on something, Adam. People need to understand what we are providing them is actual real data and facts that they can use to talk to their state legislators, their federal legislators, and get Washington to move and let up on all these ridiculous mandates. You can also sign up for our Open the Books newsletter. That is a great source of weekly information. Again, go to openthebooks.com today and sign up. And don't forget, every Thursday, 5:40 Eastern, 4:40 Central Time for another episode of the Rip Off of the Week. Thanks so much. Appreciate you guys for joining us.